So guys, thanks for tuning in for another how-to video. Today's video is going to be setting up a Hikvision IP CCTV system completely from scratch. So we're going to take you all the way from the beginning straight through to the finish. This is going to be from installing the hard drive into the NVR unit, connecting up the cameras, setting the whole unit up, setting the image OSDs up, so you're literally ready to install them on your property. So good advice for this one is that if you've even got a system installed and you're trying to get it back to sort of some sort of normality, factory defaults, but then you actually need to get it set up and working, setting up notifications, all of that will be covered in this video throughout. I'll try and put some breaks in the video so you can skip to the bits that most interest you throughout. It's one of the feedback I had from our Hikvision group. A couple of guys had said, look, it would be like, love the video, but it would be really useful if I could just pick out little snippets of knowledge just in little bits of the video. So I'm going to try and do that for you afterwards. But look, so keep a look for all of our videos. This one's going to be the full detail. And obviously I'll break into any other little bits of information. If you want any other videos covering a specific field, please drop a comment below the video so I can come back to you personally, and then we can try and get a video recorded and the information that you need on it. Thanks again. Right, so you're going to open the box, going to get your NVR out, and you're going to find that you're going to have the NVR wrapped in the packing, and you're going to have this little box. In this box is going to be a few accessories that you're going to need, and these are going to be your cables. So we're going to need here, you're going to have your power cables for your hard disk to go in. You're then going to have your data cable. If you're going to use one hard drive, you're only going to need one. If you've got multiple hard drives, you're going to need two. The power adapter comes with two ends on it. Doesn't matter which one you use. You're going to have an Ethernet cable in order to link this into your router. There are multiple options here. In a different video, we go through the ability to attach an NVR using a Wi-Fi client or even a mesh network system. This one, we're just going to be doing a straight Ethernet connection through to our switch that we've got here. Follow on in any of the other videos if you'd like to know how to do this wirelessly, if wiring it to your router isn't an option. And then you're going to have a little mouse. To be fair, we've already got 1,000,001 of these mouses, so we're not going to use that. Now we're going to strip out the NVR. We're going to fit the hard disk into this now as well. And then we're going to be taking this apart now, and then we're going to strip this down, get this hard disk put in, and then we're going to set it up on the TV above us. Now what we're going to do inside here, you're going to take the power cable. Going to get this connected to this little socket down here. Goes clip side up, so if you line that up, you'll get it clipped on like that. This is basically two power supplies for two hard disks should you need them. This particular NVR takes two. You can put them in both sections. You then need to take one of the blue data cables, and you can then connect this up with the little nick coming out, fits in the socket as you can see in here. So they go that way up, and then we're going to attach the hard disk, put the screws in it, secure it into this unit. This particular one, I'm going to leave the top off because we secure these to a panel for every time we do an installation. Just makes it easier when we're putting them in. Now, depending on how you want to do things, you can now plug this in, plug a mouse in, and use the onboard interface via a TV to set them up. I always set them up via the web browser just because I find it a lot more comfortable doing that. Usually I go inside, do it in the nice and warm while I leave these plugged in out here. But in this case, we've plugged it into the LAN. That's the blue cable. This is going back to our switch. This is going to our test unit TV above it, and this is the power supply on. So NVR's all ready, hard disks are installed, everything's all connected. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get all of the cameras set up on the wall. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now that we've got them set up and they're on the wall, we'll get them all connected back. It's slightly easier for us. All of our cables are already connected back to a switch panel on the desk here, and then we connect them straight into the back of the NVR. So what we have here is channels 1, 2, 3, and 4 already connected from on the desk, connected back into the back of our NVR. Now we're ready to turn things on and get things going. So now that we've got the NVR set up, this is now on and running. Our cameras are now on and running, and what we now need to do is activate the device and activate the cameras. The cameras will be done at the same time that we activate the NVR. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to do this via a PC. You can do this on a Windows or a Mac. I'm actually using a Mac, but it is running Windows at the same time. So I'll be showing you through the steps of doing it on a Windows PC, because that's the most common way of doing it. And what we're going to do is going to swap over to the PC now, and I'm going to show you where to download the tools that you need in order to actually enable the devices and configure them correctly. Right, so guys, what we're going to do, we're going to take you through the process of getting you completely set up. Ignore the fact I've got a couple of tools already on my desktop. What we're going to do, I like to use Microsoft Edge for browsing, but so we're going to go onto Microsoft Edge. We're going to go to www.hikvision.com. We're then going to go to support, and on the support section we're going to go to tools and desktop tools. And what you can hear in the background there is the most annoying sound in the world, and that is a basically an alert code or an alert sound from your NVR. Usually if there's some sort of exception, if there's a fault, if it's a hard disk, you can also set it to make that tone if you're for one of your alerts for like a intrusion detection or something like that. So what we're going to do, we're going to download the SADP tool for Windows. You can also download the same install for Mac and use it on a Mac. The process is exactly the same. So once you click download, that's going to agree with the terms. That's going to download the file that you need, and then you're going to take that out, extract it and run it, and then that's going to give you the installed SADP tool for you to use right now. We've already got it installed and running, so we're going to open that up, accept it, and then we're going to open SADP. So on yours, expect obviously if this is your first Hikvision product, then you should only have the one inactive device that we're going to look at. Obviously we've got all of the ones that are here currently running, so we're concentrating on this one right here. And all we have to do for this is we have to select it, and then we have to select a password and enable hik-connect. So I'm going to enter a password here. I'm going to enable hik-connect. This is also going to ask us for a verification code. I like to keep these the same as my other passwords when I'm setting these up, and then obviously hand it over to customer once they're installed. But so we're going to put this in now. Make sure that you choose a password that you can remember, and it's worthwhile making a note of all of this while you're doing it so you have them for later reference. Now that that's done, this is going to take you to the next section, which is about either exporting a file, set a question, or a reserved email. Now, if you're an installer, I would be setting a reserved email on this, so then this is going to always come back to you. Likewise, you can do this if you're an end user, and obviously you're going to get your, if you ever forget your password, when you do a reset, it will send it through via this email address. So in this instance, we're going to set this up in our email, so for info@Charged.Services. And if anyone's got any questions or any queries, anything like that you might need regarding CCTV, please feel free to email us on that email address. Now that the reserved email is set, we can close this, and you'll see that the device is now activated. So this device, we've enabled DHCP and enabled hik-connect. What this does means that the IP address that's been chosen is an available IP address on your network. At this stage, I don't recommend turning off DHCP and setting the IP address. This can be done if you're using in a commercial environment. For instance, you might have an IT department that wants you to use a specific range of IP addresses, but we can deal with that in another video. So for today, this is enable DHCP. This auto sets this up. Leave the ports and the enhanced service port as they are. You'll see though the subnet mask has matched up for anything that is currently on your computer, and the gateway will be your router's IP address. So we've now set that up, and this device is now activated. What you need to do next is you'll need to go to this IP address in a web browser. Now here's where things can get tricky, because only some of the web browsers will support what you need it to do. If you go to Internet Explorer, So when you go to Internet Explorer, you'll now be able to type in here the IP address of the device that we've already gone to. So now that we know where we're going to 192.168.0.117. To log in, you'll come across the Hikvision page, where you'll use your admin is the username, and then the password that you set a couple of minutes ago in SADP. When you click login, you'll get taken into the Hikvision system, and then in here you're going to be asked to install the plugin in order for this to work. Now I'll pre-warn you, there will be other issues and other teething problems with this as time goes on, and what you're going to find is that things are very temperamental because they use ActiveX controls, which have now been discontinued in all of these other browsers. So eventually I imagine Hikvision will update their firmware and they'll be able to obviously have cross-browser compatibility in other browsers. So what you're going to do is you're going to need to click the link, and it's going to ask you to install web components. This is then going to come up with a prompt which you're going to have to accept. And now that this is installed, you've finished the setup, you'll now need to exit Internet Explorer. We can also exit SADP as we no longer need it. And now we can reopen Internet Explorer again. And then we can go back to 192.168.117. You have to re-log in again. And now we're back at the same screen that we was in before, but we're no longer being asked to install a plugin. Now what you should be able to do at this point is push the play button down here, and your live cameras will become activated and then come up on the screen. What we're currently hearing is we're hearing this beeping noise going on at the moment, and this beeping is because we haven't initialized the hard disk. So what we need to do is go to the configuration section, and then we're going to go down to storage, then we're going to go to storage management, and then here we're going to find our HDD. So currently we've got it installed, we know it's been detected, we've got a capacity, this is a 4 terabyte drive that we've installed, and we're now going to need to set and format. So if you just go to the format, click OK, and this process will then format the drive and set it ready for use. You can see that currently the status is uninitialized, and this will then change once the process is complete. And there we go, you'll see that the status is now returned back to normal. That will also stop the beeping, and then now you can actually get on with actually not losing your mind. Now that we've initiated the hard disk, and that's now set and the status is normal, we can then go back and then check on our cameras. So when we activate the device in SADP and we put in our administrator passwords and our verification codes, that will now automatically set up the cameras that we now have plugged directly into the device. So if we now go to System and then Camera Management, you'll then see that we now have channels 1, 2, 3 and 4 all active, and they're all status as online. Now there's a couple of things that we can do with this, because we are going to need to change some settings in these cameras a little bit later. And you'll notice in the end column here in Connect, we have no current links. So what we need to do on this, we need to go and activate something called virtual host. That will then allow us to actually get into the settings of the camera. So you go onto Network, go to Advanced Settings, and then go to the Other tab. And you'll find there's a section in here called Enable Virtual Host. If you click that on, and then click Save, that will then save succeed, and that will enable you to actually access the camera's web browser or web browser interface via the NVR. You will only be able to do this locally while you're on the same network. So this is not something that you can enable and then remote attach into it, because as soon as you try and then go to the virtual hosted IP port, you will then lose your connection. So this is only for local configuration, but this will let you change the image settings such as WDR and things like that on the camera. So it's an important step for later on, not something you need to worry about right now. What we do want to do though is go to platform access. Platform access is what enables hik-connect to actually work. And you'll have seen one of their videos about hik-connect offline errors, right? And then we fixed that error because this is to do with DNS usually. So in here, we just need to make sure that our platform access is onto hik-connect, the box is enabled, and the status here, register status, is online. If that is correct, then your device will be ready to add to hik-connect. And we can do this in a number of ways. This particular device, we're going to enroll via hik-connect, but first of all, I'm going to show you that on a standard hik-connect account that I'm going to set up now for you. So we can go back to live view, and then we can go start live view. And now you can see that all the cameras are now live. So you should be able to see me in camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, and camera 4. So all of these cameras are now live, and then we can set up the recording schedule now. We're going to go back to configuration. We're then going to do event. And how I like to set cameras up is by using motion detection as recording as opposed to a constant recording. So these particular cameras have got detection targets, human and vehicle activated. You can enable these or disable these if you just want to record everything. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to show you the linkage method. We don't want to turn on Notify Surveillance Center for basic alerts. All we want to have is trigger recording, and then we do this for each individual camera. So area settings are already on. This is recording the full screen. We're going to put sensitivity at 80 just to make it a little bit more sensitive. We're going to leave the detection targets as human as vehicle. You can turn these off, that will then let it detect all motion. But for the moment, leave them as human as vehicle because this is the whole purpose of an AccuSense camera. What we want to do is we actually want to minimize the amount of recorded footage, but we do want to record as much as we can for evidence purposes. So this will be scene dependent. You may wish to turn off human and vehicle in order to record absolutely everything in the key scene that you're looking for, but that will be something we'll deal with in a final camera position. So for the moment, linkage method, trigger recording, we'll change to camera 2. Same thing, linkage method, but it's recording channel 2, and then the same thing for channels 3 and 4. And then what we have here are smart events. These will be the events that we want to be sending through to your mobile phones. So as a good example, what we're going to set up here is we're going to set up a line crossing detection. So currently I'm sitting to the left hand side of the screen deliberately. We're going to set up a line crossing detection, and we're going to enable this line crossing detection first of all, and we're going to set it for human detection, and we're going to set it for either side of the line. So this will be if you cross the line in any direction. We're going to quickly draw this, and in this case we're going to put this one central just so I can demo it from either side of the room. Then we're going to just set save, and we're just going to basic set these up, and there will be a separate video about setting up the correct things for line crossing and intrusion with an active scene that we're using. So arming schedule, we're just going to check that this is permanently enabled because we want it to work 24/7. If you don't want to make it work 24/7, you can amend these times, but we'll show you that in a different video. And then we want to choose linkage method. Once you're on linkage method, the thing you need to tick is Notify Surveillance Center. If you click that, that will then send all of your notifications through for that line crossing detection through to your hik-connect device that's signed in, and you will then get your alert, and you'll be able to then view the footage from that event. What we still have over here is trigger recording, and dependent on the cameras, these are IP and they don't support the extra strobe alarm. But if you had a analog or what we call a turbo camera, you would find in this section you would have the strobe alarm that you can turn on as well. So we click save. That will then go save succeeded, and then you'll be able to actually activate these in hik-connect. We're going to go down to storage, and we're going to have schedule settings. Now this is what I like to do to get you the maximum amount of storage out of your out of your NVR and the hard disk that you've got is I'll go in here and I'll change this and delete all, because currently this was set as a continuous recording. Now what we want to do is change this to an event recording. And now don't to get this confused with motion and alarm, motion or alarm, motion and alarm, or even just motion as a whole. Event will trigger on either event. It's not specific to smart event or a basic event. It is just an event. So what we've already set up is we've got motion detection on and trigger and recording, and we've also got a smart line crossing detection on as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this area. We're going to make it a 24-hour period. So we're going to go from start to finish, 24 hours, and we're going to copy that. We're going to select it to all days so we have the same schedule, and then we're going to select copy to all available cameras. We're then going to click save, and that's going to go save succeeded. And then now you see the event is purple, this is purple, and if you go to each camera, you're now going to see all of them have got the same settings. So that's how we set up the cameras, that's how we set up the motion detection, and that's how we set up the storage so that you're going to get the most out of this at this point. If you go up here to video and audio, this is where you'll control a couple of other minor settings. So right now, you'll see that the camera that we're recording on its main stream, we are recording a video stream. However, all of these cameras that we've got for this system are actually audio enabled. So what you need to do is change the video type to video and audio, and then here you can adjust the video quality, frame rate, maximum bit rates, and encoding types. For the moment, we're going to leave these as they are. There's a reason for that, and obviously it really depends on your internet upload speed as to how your user experience is going to be. If you want to get the maximum quality out of your video, but you're going to be prepared to have issues with perhaps loading times or the fluidity of the image that you're watching via a mobile device, then I recommend that you leave these settings currently as they are. If you have an extremely good internet connection, like we do have here, our cameras run on highest, run on full frame rate, and we change our maximum bit rate to 8192. That gives you the maximum that you can have. And also video encoding, there is a section and a video that we've done for this that really gives you the breakdown and the differences between the video encoding. So all people do is video encoding is what enables, I suppose, you to get more space for the same time period of recording. The higher the level of compression from H.264 gives you a smoother image, and that is basically a more frequent uncompressed image. However, the space that H.264 video takes up versus a H.265 is almost double. So if you're having a 265, that will give you more seconds of video per megabyte of data, and if you have a H.264, you will get less seconds of video per megabyte of data. However, the quality and the playback of a H.264 video from a CCTV system will be better than that of a H.265, but there's really a section for a whole nother video. So for the meantime, I'm going to set these as they are, and then we're going to put this maximum, I'll put the max bit rate in here so I get the most out of this this particular recording, and the place that we're going to be installing these has got exceptional internet as well. So we're then going to go copy to, select all, and then save the config of the camera, and then we'll wait. The cameras should now reboot in front of you. So if you're looking at your cameras and they are color views, you also have a cycle of all of the lights will turn on and then go off, and the cameras will reboot. So now that your cameras have rebooted, you'll then be able to go to the image tab, where we're going to show you how to name all of your cameras. First of all, on image, you're going to have display settings, and now you're going to be able to see me. What we're then going to do is we're going to go to OSD. In here, this is where we're going to name all of the camera names. So what we'll do with our cameras, we're going to issue camera number 1 as front door. I like to then put in our own branding so customers know where they can get hold of us. So www.Charged.Services. We move them over to the corner of the screen. and then we put our telephone number in there, because we actually want our customers to be able to call us, unlike some installers. So now that they're in, this is how you put them on and put them off. If, for instance, you've had an installer who set your system up and you're really not happy with it, this is also how you remove their details from your CCTV shots. So you just uncheck the boxes and that will remove it from the screen when it's on. So now this camera's set up and named, we'll go on and quickly do the second one. Just to give you an example, I'm not going to finish all of these, but we're going to call this one side gate. And you can see the names change, comes up on the cameras, and then what we're going to do is go back to camera 1. Right, we'll go live view to show you the cameras where they've now taken their new names. So it's important that we do this so that way when we set up hik-connect, we're not having to try and go in and change the individual names of the cameras when we're on hik-connect. So I'll go through and finish the rest of these names and adjust these cameras ready to add this system onto hik-connect. But now it means that you've got your name set up, you can set all of your cameras up exactly the same. So what I recommend is you now set up your hik-connect account. So by doing this, I always do it via the web browser because it allows you to choose a username. So what I recommend is you go to www.hik-connect.com and this will take you to this page. And here you can then register for a hik-connect account. Here you can then pick a username. And then you can set a password, confirm your password, set a country region, select United Kingdom, and then you can enter an email address, fill in the captcha code, agree to the terms, and click next. Once you've done that, you're going to get sent an email code with a security code, and in that security code you then enter it so you can then get your hik-connect account activated. So if you have an Apple iPhone, you'll be able to download the hik-connect app directly from the Play Store, and if you don't have that and you're using an Android device, go to www.hik-connect.com and then you'll be prompted to download the app on the web browser. That will then download you the latest app, and unfortunately you have to check back for manual updates if you ever need to. So once you've downloaded the app, we'll take you through to the phone and then show you how to log in, and then we'll show you how to add your device.
So now that you've set up your hik-connect account, you've downloaded the app, and now you can log in. The first thing you're going to see is a refresh and add device button, but we're not going to use that. In the top right hand side you're going to see a small plus icon. When you push that, you're then going to get the option for online device. Now providing you're connected using your phone on the same network as your NVR is already set up, then what you should find is that the device should come up with its IP address. You should then be able to tap the device. It will then add it. It will come up saying add, and also saying add device to hik-connect server. What you want to do is push add device to hik-connect server first. Once you've done that, that's going to come up with the next screen asking you to add the device to your hik-connect account. And then once you've done that, your device will then save. You'll have to put in your input verification code that you set up on SADP, and that device will now become live on hik-connect online, and it will now be added to your account. So you can click next and move on. Save a name if you wish to change the name of your NVR. And now your device is now active on your hik-connect account. You may have to refresh the device, and then all your cameras should become live. So now your NVR is working and you can view your cameras on live view. What you'll see at the bottom of the hik-connect app is the hik-connect logo and then a little icon that says notification. If you go onto notification, this is where all of your alerts for line crossing detections, intrusions or any other alerts that you've set to notify Surveillance Centre will come through to. As you can see on this, I've stood up and I've triggered the line crossing alert. That's now sent the notification through to the mobile phone. You've then had two options of live view or playback. As soon as you push the playback, you'll be able to then view the actual video footage that's now recorded in that event. This will come directly through to your phone every time, but please remember, your upload speed of your internet at home will be dependent on the quality and the speed of download of this footage.
So guys, that was another how-to video on how to set up your Hikvision CCTV system from start to finish. So you should now be able to set up your NVR, install the hard disk, initialize the hard disk, activate the device via SADP. That will then set up all of your cameras as well. You should also be able to name all of your camera locations, set them all via the image tab within the NVR. You also now know how to access your NVR via the web browser, which is a great tool. That will make things a lot easier than having to get to the actual device all of the time, especially if your device that you're going to install is going to be putting your NVR, say, in a loft or somewhere that isn't very accessible. There's nothing more annoying than having to try and get up to that device in order every time to try and do something. Whereas if you have your laptop handy, you can just get that out, access it via a web browser, and you can do all of the same controls from the web browser without ever having to get to the device. So as well as that, now we know that your hik-connect is set up, we know that your app is working, we've now added your device to your hik-connect account, and you now know that you're getting your notifications coming through to you as well. So you're ready to now install all the cameras on your property. So look, that should be everything that you need to know in order to get you started. If there's anything else that you need to know about your system, or any how-tos or anything like that, please drop a comment below the video and we'll be able to hopefully make you something personal and see if we can get that covered out for you in another video. Please have a look at our other how-to videos. That will go into more detail on how to adjust several things like the image settings. One of the big things with colour view images or colour view cameras is to get the best image quality. You do actually need to understand how to set up a specific sort of setting for your cameras to make the most out of the lighting that it has available to it. Every location that you put your cameras is going to be different, so you'll very likely have to adjust your settings ever so slightly from each camera, because I can guarantee you out of the box they're not set up to work in a perfect way. So what we'll do, we'll cover that off in another video, so please have a look for our how-tos and you'll see how to adjust the settings on your colour view AccuSense cameras. And that's me, Chris at Charged, and I hope you enjoyed our video.